Melissa, on your left corner of your Zoom window, look at your left corner. You should be able to see something that says musician, something on, off. Turn it on. And you click on the left corner. Yeah.
It's on.
Yeah. Otherwise, when the bell rings, sound gets cut off.
Okay. That was the secret.
Please turn to this preliminary and dedication prayer. Oh, Mother, sentient beings, boundless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors, harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path, liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. O Mother, sentient beings, boundless as the sky, especially those enemies, me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation, omniscience, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. O Mother, sentient beings, boundless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached by the merit of generosity and perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached by the merit of generosity and other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached by the merit of generosity and other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all Mother, sentient beings, boundless as the sky, happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness, free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all Mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness, causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all Mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. So let those words, let the meaning of those words soak, marinate our minds. There is some vocabulary in these opening recitations that some of you might be unfamiliar with. So this phrase, Mother Sentient Beings, in Tibetan, Ma Semchen. Semchen, literally, those who possess minds, those who possess consciousness. Semchen, which then translates to English as sentient beings. Ma, mother. Mother sentient beings is a reminder to us that we should train ourselves to perceive, to relate to all sentient beings, all those who possess mind, all those who possess consciousness, to be as kind to us as our parents have been kind to us. So all Mother sentient beings, boundless, limitless as the sky, no limit. Then in particular, those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. Liberation and omniscience is referring to, one could say, the final two steps to becoming what's called a Buddha. Liberation pertains more to ourselves being free from the bondage of attachment and aversion, that has arisen out of ignorance or confusion. So we ourselves need to be free. Once we are free from these three poisons, then the next level to achieve, the next level that is necessary, is this level called all-knowingness or omniscience. This omniscience here has a different role than, say, in theistic, monotheistic traditions where God is all-knowing. This all-knowing is a little different. This all-knowing is referring to the Buddha's, the awakened one's ability to fully and thoroughly understand and see the relationship between causes and effects. So it's really to understand the intricate workings of cause and effect that we call this omniscience. It's not so much that we're saying Buddhists know your deepest thoughts and secrets, and don't lie in front of the Buddhas. Or Buddhists know your credit card number. Make sure you hide it in case this Buddha likes to shop. Here, all-knowingness, the most important point about all-knowingness, Buddhas being all-knowing, and we wanting to achieve all-knowingness, is not for those reasons, but for the reason of being able to see causality. Because without the ability to see the exact workings of causality, of karmic causality, even when we think we are helping someone, we could really be messing up further for them, contributing to the mess that is already there. I mean, how often we find ourselves in that situation, not even about trying to help others, just trying to solve our own predicament. It's like we take these wrong steps, and then the plot thickens, and the plot thickens, and the plot thickens. And the more you try to get free, the more entangled you get. And so these two steps, one, liberation comes as a result of seeing or directly perceiving, understanding, fully, completely understanding the truth of emptiness. Emptiness doesn't mean, again, footnote, nothingness or becoming extinct. Emptiness means lack of something that doesn't change. Because in the Buddhist context, something that doesn't change. Perhaps other religions, other spirituality promises people, if you do this or that, you will arrive at a place where change doesn't happen anymore. From the Buddhist perspective, that's terrifying. You mean like, I'm going to be stuck? Even stuck forever in heaven. Like, it's like being stuck in Disneyland. Yeah, eternity. It's a small one. Forever, Terrifying. So emptiness is talking about how reality is dynamic. It's not static. At all times, at all moments, things are coming into existence, dissolving back into emptiness, arising again, unendingly. That is the indestructible nature of things. Buddhist irony, of course. The indestructible nature of things is things arise and cease continuously. And that's alive and that's dynamic. Once we really fully get this indestructible nature of things, by the way, this is Vajrayana language, Sutrayana language. Some of you I don't know, that is Greek. For now it's Greek, but for some of you, you know what I'm talking about. So I have to kind of help everyone to grow a little in this understanding. In Sutrayana language, it's called emptiness. in Vajrayana language is called the indestructible nature, which is what the Vajra means, the Vajra nature of things. They're talking about the same thing. Yeah. So that's what confers, so to say, liberation. When you get that, you become free. So that's the emptiness side. How do you arrive at the all-knowing side? That is when you are able to see how exactly this set of causes lead to this set of results. That is said to be even more subtle, more difficult to see than the truth of emptiness. So for those of you who have been educated on this, you know that there are 10 bodhisattva levels. At level 8, you see the truth of emptiness directly and stable now. But only at the 11th bhumi of a Buddha do you see the exact workings of cause and effect. And so that's a much more subtle object of realization. But take-home lesson for you and me. These two things, liberation and all-knowingness, means that what we're striving for in terms of Buddhist training is how to be free from entanglements. But learning how to be free from entanglements doesn't mean being careless about how we relate to ourselves and to each other. Because learning how to be free, right, and wanting to be free, we've all been young before. Remember all the nonsense we ended up doing? The recklessness of wanting to be free? And how much suffering came from that, right? So this wanting to be free can make us reckless. So not that kind of freedom. That's why all-knowingness, knowing karmic causality, is the other side of this, they say, two sides of the same hand. Two sides of the same coin. So this say, here in this first aspiration bodhicitta, this liberation and omniscience is talking about this. Of course, here is talking about, first, basically this is like what Christians say, you pray for your enemies. Well, some Christians say, pray for your enemies, turn the other cheek. Right? It's a form of that. So it says, especially those enemies who hate me and obstructors who harm me. Enemies who hate me, we are lucky, most of us don't walk around thinking we have enemies. We're really lucky. But there are many people in this world that live realities where they can tell you a list of enemies and real threats to their lives. So for us who don't really have a list of who our enemies are, enemies who hate me are basically whoever you perceive, to be doing things that are against your interests, and whom you even feel personal about, like this is personally harming me or harming mine, my family, my friends, my tribe, whatever. Right? Obstructors who harm me are those who blindly, they're not so much even so actively going after you, but a more passive kind. Then finally, those who create obstacles on my path, on my process, on my path towards achieving liberation and omniscience. This third group is very tricky. Could be your spouse, could be your parents, could be your pet, could be your favorite ice cream. Whatever that stands in the way to you achieving freedom and achieving clarity about cause and effect. But even towards those, we should say, especially for those, I am going to be a Buddha. You're like, okay, Buddha, I don't know what that means. Okay, I want to be a better person. For those, especially. May they experience happiness is the definition of metta or loving kindness. And be separated from suffering is the definition for compassion. So loving kindness and compassion. Then the final line, I will quickly establish them. I will quickly elevate them. I will quickly raise them to the level of the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. This is wisdom. Why? Because here we understand that the final way to really benefit others and help others is to help them to be free from the mass of confusion and the afflictive emotions that arises from confusion. So, next is the action bodhicitta. So in order to actualize what we aspire in the first recitation, now we commit to having to actually do it with body, speech, and mind, so that all our physical actions, verbal actions, and mental actions, so to say, are geared towards that which is virtuous. Here, that which is virtuous is that which gives rise to happiness. That means I will engage in those causes that will bring about the results of happiness, both short-term and long-term happiness. Then in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha are most excellent. So Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, these are the three objects of refuge, the three refuges, the three precious ones. The Buddhas, the one who are awake, free from confusion, and therefore are reliable guides. They are like the physicians. These are the supreme physician. So this weekend we are learning about this one Buddha figure whose name is actually the physician Buddha, the healer Buddha, medicine Buddha. But in general, the Buddhas are all called the great physician. They are the great physicians because they heal us on the deepest and the most important levels of where we have become diseased. Right? Disease, that's dukkha, that's suffering. That's what the Buddha called suffering. Dukkha. So we look to the Buddha as a reference point. Then the Buddhas taught Dharma. Dharma means reality, truth. The Buddhas, through their words, through their guidance, show us what the reality is. And Sangha are those individuals who have taken the Dharma, applied the Dharma, actualized the Dharma, and are in front of us in that process, ahead of us. There is the ordinary notion of Sangha, which we are now one. We constitute a Sangha, a gathering of people. But we don't necessarily take refuge in this gathering. More specifically, the Sangha here is referring to those individuals who have applied the Dharma and have progressed beyond us. Why is that important? Don't come to me and ask me to teach you Spanish, I only know about 9 words. No matter how nice I am, no matter how much you like hanging out with me, no matter how many times you have seen me in pictures in Mexico or Guatemala, I can't teach you Spanish. It's just as simple as that. It's not about hierarchy. It's not about who's better than me. But the Sangha that we use as a reference point, as a guide, has to be. So in fact, in the Mahayana tradition, which Tibetan Buddhism is part in that, meaning those who aspire to be bodhisattvas, it's said that the Sangha needs to be, someone who is a Sangha refuge, needs to be at least at the 8th bhumi, the 8th bodhisattva level, before they are qualified. Again, take-home lesson. Not that there's a bhumi meter, that you can order from Amazon and stick into people and see if they're reliable or not, Take-home lesson is the path is not as easy, not easily achieved. Don't delude yourselves. And not saying that you should be paranoid about who can or cannot guide you, but just know that, the state of being awake is not something that is so trifle or mundane or pedestrian. Sometimes in an effort to make the Dharma relatable to people, teachers kind of made the mistake of making it sound like it's just so easy, It can be inspiring, I read like Tricycle or Lion's Roar, The Wisdom of Imperfection. Nice. Well, but when you think it through, you're like, wait, that cannot be it. Right? That cannot be it. Now, of course, the very fact that such a book exists is because of the interdependence of Americans, mostly type A personality. So yes, so that book is necessary. Only within that context. Okay? In cultures where there aren't that many type A personalities, that book is just bad news. Because then nobody would do anything about anything. Oh, perfect. I'm now imperfectly Buddha. Happy to not do anything. So, going for refuge means, we have a safe, we have safe direction. Wherever you are headed towards, right? You have now safe direction. And so, even in this going for refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha, it says, for the sake of all beings, may I become Buddha. So in that process of becoming Buddha, I am going to rely, I'm going to have Buddha Dharma Sangha as like my reference point, my guide. Then again, right, mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky. Happiness and the causes of happiness, that's loving kindness. Free from suffering and the causes of suffering is compassion. The third one, never separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow, that is joy. And abide in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion, that's equanimity. So these are called the 4 boundless minds. So we cultivate goodwill towards all. No ill will towards any. Goodwill towards all. That's loving kindness. This loving kindness isn't necessarily, we don't have to think in terms of like martyrdom. Like I will sacrifice myself for you to that degree. It doesn't need to be so bombastic. If we can just train to always have a heart of goodwill towards any and all, that would transform our lives. I would say that would transform our lives more meaningfully, more powerfully than thinking one of these days, I'm going to jump in front of the tracks to save, this person. So it's not asking you to develop, this self-sacrifice, martyrdom, but it is saying we should at all times maintain goodwill, good heart towards any and all. And compassion is, wanting everyone to be free from harm, to be free from suffering. This joy, it says, it's like the joy of that comes, that we feel, that we experience when we meet like long lost friends. And that kind of joy, we should train again to radiate that towards all. So that even when you meet people for the first time, with that kind of joy, people can feel it, that something is different there. And that joy opens their hearts. Then all of it should be cultivated with equanimity, meaning not, divide the world into two tribes, my tribe and the other tribe, like and dislike, and then lots of love, compassion, and joy for people I like. Sorry, you are in the other group, So this equanimity is really important. So these are some words, some vocabulary that you may or may not be familiar with in this opening prayers, opening recitations. Do you have any questions about what you just heard, or comments?
I have a question about cause and effect. And so when we're talking about, I guess my question is, are the cause a lot of times the emotions that we have, and the effect is the behavior that we then take after what we do because of those emotions?
The effects need not even be. The effect is already there even before you take the action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
The emotion is anger. The effect is.
Yeah.
The emotion is love. The effect is already there. Whether we then create physical karma and verbal karma due to that emotion is another set of karma already. Just having that, jealousy there, the effect is already created. Just having love, the effect is already created. In fact, the cause and effect of emotions and thoughts are much more instantaneous than physical and verbal in terms of the cause and effect. Then every moment is the embodiment of an emotion and a thought. Buddha says every moment of our existence. If you could videotape 1 minute of your existence, but videotape not just on the physical level, somehow this magical videotape can now tape your mental moment of 1 minute. In that 1 minute, there are many, many moments of consciousness. some Buddhist text says like 64 moments in 1 second. Yeah, that's how. That's like a unit of consciousness. It's like instead of 1 second, they say the time it takes a strong person to snap their fingers. 64 moments of mind has occurred. Right? So if there's a video that can video all of that, right? So forget about 1 minute. That's like a lot of frames, right? Just 64, right? In each of those moments of 64 moments, whatever your emotion is, that is the form that you exist as. So every moment is the embodiment of one of these moments. So that means, again, things are not as solid as we think they are, and things are not as stuck as we feel they are. Because one moment of clarity, then in that moment is one moment of Buddha awake. One moment of anger is one moment of hell being. One moment of jealousy is a moment of being a demigod. So the Buddha's 6 realms of existence, from the hell realm, the realm of hungry ghosts, the realm of animals, the realm of humans, the realm of the demigods, and the realm of the gods. Right? So there is the macro level of that, which is, many Buddhists believe that at the end of this life, things don't stop. You take on a different life form, and these are 6 possible places. So that's on the macro level. On the micro level, every moment now, right, every 1/64th of this is the embodiment of one of these states. Buddhas are rare, Buddhas are all over the place. So last night, I don't know if all of you were here, but last night we did a simple exercise that I would like to start now with that exercise again. So now try to sit yourself in a comfortable, stable position. It might be sitting on the floor, it might be sitting on a chair, but basically, kind of choose a sitting position that's comfortable and stable. And then at your own pace, when you're ready, perhaps with eyes closed or eyes open. If eyes are open, don't kind of like stare into the space, because it might be distracting. Just lower your gaze. Sometimes there's an advantage to not fully closing your eyes, because for some of us, that immediately leads to drowsiness. And so either way, however you place your eyes, whatever you do with them, sit in a comfortable way, and then at your own pace, and when you're ready, try to look at the mental image that you have of yourself. Last night I said, like, for many of us, we have a mental image of ourselves. For many of us, it's a physical image. And some others, we talk a little bit about it with some of you, that your image is not necessarily a physical image of yourself, but an emotional image of yourself. So actually, that's fine too. The point is that bring up this mental image that you identify more or less clearly, strongly as the I that we're talking about. When you say I. And then, if you want to more clearly identify this image, you can say the image that turns up, whether it's physically based image or emotionally based image. But the I that turns up whenever you're very happy, or whenever you're sad or indignant or insulted, whenever strong emotions turn up, that version of I that also turns up strongly, that image. And so take a look at that image. Right here, right now, that I, let it become present. Let it be as vivid as you're able to. Some of us in this moment might like a lot this image, or cannot stand. Either way, it's fine. Nothing to modify. You're not trying to improve this image or diminish this image, but you are trying to have a felt sense, a clear experience of this image. This image that turns up when you think I, or me, or mine. Don't try to be a quote-unquote good Buddhist, and try to get rid of it and say, I don't have an I don't have a self. Right now, it's just to honestly allow what habitually turns up when you think I. Let that turn up. And even let that person sit where you're sitting. At your own pace when you are ready. The next step in this exercise involves a band, like a ribbon band, but the width, as you can think of it as 6 inches, 8 inches. But this band of light that comes out of the ground where you are seated on. And it comes up and grows longer and longer. As it grows longer, it wraps around you, not like body tight, but just creating an egg shape, almost like you could say force field. But how this band of light works as it turns around, wraps around, going up, is as it goes wrapping up, that image that you have of I, that is me, mine, that image dissolves as this band of light circles upwards and upwards and upwards. It's not that your sense of self disappears, but the sense of self that is tied to that image. That mental image, that emotional image, that physical image, that disappears. And instead, an egg-shaped crystal has replaced that. This big egg-shaped crystal is bright, luminous, glowing. Now, to whatever degree you can, in still trying to maintain this body, there's an orb, an egg-shaped orb of crystal body. So the insides of your body, there's no the usual, human organs, all of that. Instead, you have this egg-shaped crystal form. In the center, but not right in the center as in left, right, center, but then front, back is further to the back. At this place, if you could divide this space into thirds, a third from the back. So then there's 2/3 in front, a third from the back. Running up and down is a blue tube. A blue tube that, as it goes up, its size increases until to the very top of this egg, there is an opening. This tube opens. So that's called the sky door, or the Brahma aperture, the opening. Brahma means pure one, the pure opening, or the sky door. So that's blue in color, this tube. Then the bottom end of this tube ants 4 fingers length below your belly button. So imagine this tube, this channel. This is called the central channel. Then there are 2 more tubes that run parallel. These 2 left and right tubes or channels, a little bit smaller in terms of the diameter from the central channel. And further difference is that these 2 tubes, they don't like become bigger and bigger as they go up. Their diameter stays consistent. The channel on the left is white in color. The top end of that channel actually comes out through your left nostril. So imagine like going up your nostril, the channel goes up to your crown, then it makes a turn, like a hookah turn, and then it goes down. Then the bottom end of those 2 channels actually feed into the central channel. The left channel is white, the right channel is red. Central channel is blue. Both the white and red channel, the lower ends, they hook into the central channel, feed into the central channel. Then the right red channel goes up, right to the top of your crown, then it turns down and goes out, opens out into your right nostril. So try to experience this body that is shaped like an egg, a crystal egg, luminous, glowing, and then now with the added detail of these 3 channels. The blue central channel. To the left of this blue central channel is a white channel. To the right is red channel. Any questions about this? The egg and the 3 channels? Any clarification needed? Yes.
I wasn't really looking at you, so where does the channels enter into the main channel?
So
As the
bottom.
bridge is open?
No, bottom. They feed.
Into the
Yeah.
inside?
Yeah. They join at the bottom, not at the top. Because at the top, the central channel opens at the sky door.
Okay.
The left channel comes out this nostril. The right channel comes out this nostril. So the channel goes up, right? And then. Yeah.
So when you said, where do the channels start? Do they start it from the top or do they start from the bottom?
Well, either way, right?
Or and then they enter into the main channel
Bottom.
from which direction?
Bottom.
Okay, so they just,
Huh?
all right.
No?
Like a hook.
Huh? Yeah.
But does the energy flow in both directions or only up?
Oh, don't worry about the energy. I didn't say anything about energy. I just gave you the
Just
tubes.
a hollow tube.
Yeah,
Okay.
3 hollow tubes.
Dr. Miles?
Central channel. Yeah. One of the side channels, right?
Yeah. Okay,
Go in.
right,
This one
yeah,
goes in.
yeah,
Yeah. This one opens here.
yeah.
This one, like, if it's me, right? Opens here. Right nostril. Left nostril.
Right.
Yeah? Right? Make sense? Yeah? Right nostril. My right channel. Yeah, which is red in color.
So the smaller tubes are actually an extension of the bigger tube?
No,
Coming
they're
out?
just left and right channel. Central channel. Yeah?
They enter at the bottom.
Yeah, then they enter
At the
here.
bottom, come out the nose, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they feed into, right?
But what I'm trying to clarify is that
Uh-huh.
when they come into the main channel,
Uh-huh,
do
here.
they just kind of dissolve into the whole channel? Or do they continue up?
No, they don't continue
They
up.
just sort of,
Yeah, yeah, they end.
that's where they end. Okay.
That's where they end.
There you go. Gotcha. That was-
Yeah, they're not like inserted up. Yeah,
But they do go up to the top and then back down through your nostril?
yeah, yeah. So,
Oh, they don't, okay.
It'll go out the hole.
yeah, it goes, so it goes up to the crown,
Yeah.
comes out.
Okay, they do.
Yeah, okay. Done. Got it. Thank you.
Is there any breathing?
Not answering that. I didn't talk about that. Just says the energy. Don't worry about all of that. We just want some clarity on the architecture of this. Yes,
So we're saying we're moving through these channels, these tubes.
we're not moving yet.
What are we visualizing these tubes?
Uh-huh.
In and out, we're visualizing in and out.
It's just it's just the architecture, like where the doors, right? Yeah. But what's the question?
I feel like when I'm visualizing this, there's something moving, and I need to just.
Yeah, nothing's moving.
You're not getting going there.
Nothing's moving.
Yeah, if something's coming in and going, seems like something's moving, if something's coming in.
First, you need to know there are 2 doors getting out of here.
Uh-huh.
That's all, right? When I talk about the 2 doors, you're not asking, you don't need to ask, what's going in and out. Of course, you have things going in and out. But first, there are 2 doors. Now there are 3 doors, 1, 2, 3. That's all.
And the left and right are going out the nostrils.
Well, at the top, yeah. At the bottom, they hook into the central channel.
Okay.
right? That's all.
So there's this kind of attempt to stay in the egg crystal.
No need to stay in. You are the egg.
And in the body.
Huh?
And in light.
Oh no, when that band of light is sweeping up, body is gone.
And so when we
And now egg is the body.
so when we put the tubes in,
Uh-huh.
they're in this
Egg.
body.
In the egg body.
And so still the other body, the
Mhm.
snake is gone.
Oh yeah, already gone. That's the first part of the exercise.
So then coming up like through the top of the skull and not
No skull. This egg. Just a crystal egg. You know, those eggs that people buy, you know, and put in their display cabinet. But a crystal one, no painting, you know. Just a crystal egg. Crystal egg. Some days you feel the crystal egg is really big. Sometimes you feel the crystal egg is really small. That happens. Sometimes the crystal egg is about the same size as your body. It changes. And it's okay.
So the crystal egg has two holes, in the, kind of the bottom third, and then one hole in the top.
Well, are there other tantric exercises where these channels are actually in our bodies? I mean, I think
It's always in the body of deities.
so it's not, never in this physical body. Okay.
The body of faith, did you say?
Deities.
Deities.
A
or
Buddha.
Imagined beings.
Actual.
Well, yeah.
This is imagined. This is imagined. Kyoba Jigten Simgon's watch a statement. He says, the Buddha body is thoroughly established. This body is imagined. This body that we have identified with as me or mine, right? Where did they come from? Where did it come from?
Parents.
Yeah. Parents' sperm and ovum. It's not yours. How did you end up making such big claims on this? It's imagined. It's borrowed. And, you know, due to your very strong connection to your parents, because some other people's sperm and ovum, if you encounter it on your floor or table, call hazmat. Who left them there? It's a very strong karmic connection to our parents, that even something that we normally, oh, that's me. So the first part of the exercise is to retrain our heart so that we're not so tethered. You know, last night we talked about this, to this flesh and blood body. In fact, it's not even the flesh and blood body that we're tethered to, you know, if you think about it. Like even just the English word body, right? That's an abstraction. Body is a loaded term in English. Right? That's where body image comes from. It's almost like, and then like people who do body work, right? It's not just body, it's loaded with layers and layers of like body, right? But anatomically, there's no body. That's just parts. Parts that are related to parts that are related to parts, and parts only have meaning because it lines up in relation to this part, right? So it's a system, right? Anatomically, this is a system. So even looking from like quote unquote scientific point of view, there is no body, right? It's an abstraction that arises from, right, organs and the building blocks. And the organs all have to kind of like orientate themselves in the right position before you have a functioning body. Right? See the interdependent nature of what we call body. Okay. So I don't want to give the wrong impression that in this system we are somehow making an enemy out of this. It's not. You know, if there's an enemy, it's the enemy that fixate on this being I. Yes, so then this exercise, and that exercise is just one of many possible exercises within the Vajrayana context, where instead of this flesh and blood body becoming the basis for I, so then using this very simple, this ribbon band, and if only I'm good with graphics and manipulating computer, you know, and you can just visually create, you know. So it's not so much that this ribbon wraps tightly, you know, onto this. It's more on the outside. So and then of course you're like, wait, do you turn clockwise or counterclockwise? Not answering that question. Meaning either way, it's fine. Yeah, so it comes out, then sweep. So as it sweeps, as it you know, goes around and around, then it builds, right? And this goes up, then this goes down. Right? All of this dissolve. Dissolve, 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 dissolve. And now you have the egg. There are quite a few mythologies from around the world where the universe was an egg. It's very interestingly. Not in Buddhist sources, but this does come from a Buddhist source, this visualization. Knowingly or unknowingly, this egg business has turned up here, which was kind of surprising to me when I first learned about this practice. It's like, egg? Like, is it translated wrongly? So I went and looked at the Tibetan. It's like, oh, it says an egg. So what's an egg doing here? But many mythologies have, you know, talked about, in the beginning was an egg. Not the word, but the egg. Yeah.
In the 70s, I read a book called The Crack in the Cosmic Egg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, many mythologies have this golden egg. Hindu, Bonpo actually had egg. Yeah, indigenous Tibetan Bonpo has egg, and then other cultures, you know, South America, egg. Yes.
Well, also, last night you talked about 3 bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Among my friends that are of my vintage, we're realizing that our bodies, physical bodies,
Mm-hmm.
there's this other body too, though, you know, that's like you get injured.
Mm-hmm.
There's the physical injury,
Mhm.
but then there's also this sort of
The psychic body
psychic,
or the
yeah,
energy
like,
body.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What is happening to me?
Right.
And aging feels like that too.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, I can't see like I used
Yeah.
to. What's going on?
Right.
So in this system that you're talking about, all of those bodies turn into a glowing egg,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And is this addressing the fact that we aren't, like usually, relating to all of the bodies,
Right.
but only relating to the physical?
Yes. When from time to time we get glimpses of that psychic body being injured, I think the psychic body is, or the energetic body, which in the 3 doors of body, speech, and mind, that's speech actually. Speech is not just speech. Speech is energy. So that energetic body, that psychic body, or in Vajrayana we call it the Vajra body. The Vajra body. And that's the body that gets poked, really, in like acupuncture. Yeah, I mean, of course, physically, but no, that's just to get to the psychic body, so to say, right? Those pathways. Yeah. Like, it's not like the Chinese and the Tibetans have never cut up a body to see that there isn't, like, but that's the psychic body, the energetic body, and so using, needle, which is as intrusive as Tibetan and Chinese intervention, medical intervention, really get. And then on the less intrusive, it's massage, right? So it's activating. So that psychic body, I think I have no exact description, but I feel that it probably has something to do with phantom pain. People have lost their limbs, but can still feel pain. I think it's related to that. So it's like at best, I think like modern science right now would only accept body, the physical body, and perhaps the mental body, poetically speaking. Right? So then things like phantom pain, things like what the heck is going on, when acupuncture can numb someone enough to have a brain surgery, right? They have no explanation for what exactly is going on there. But I think that's the energetic body that we're talking about. I'm sure more can be done to discover what is that. But for the Buddha's purposes, it's enough to know just these basics, right? In fact, the medical tradition has, like Tibetan medical, Chinese medical tradition, has much more detailed understanding of this energetic psychic body. And in the Tantras, like the Vajrayana like sources in the Tantras, their description of the energetic body is simplified deliberately, because it says you don't need to know that much about this psychic body for the purposes of, right, liberation and all-knowingness. So controversially, the founder of our lineage in the 12th century, he says, the medical tantras, meaning the medical sources, have more precise information about the energetic body than the Dharma text. And his contemporaries like, how can you say that? But his point is that, first, I think there are 2 things to learn from that statement. One, insofar as the work of, overcoming the 3 poisons, you don't need so much information. That's, I think, one point. And then the second point is, to me, I think he's also saying, people can discover this information without needing to rely on a quote-unquote Buddha. Especially those cultures that don't have so many gadgets. You discover, like Chinese, Tibetan, Indian medicine is much more concerned about the body's ability to absorb nutrition rather than simply how much stuff can I put in my body, like nutrition. Right? We pop like supplements, like simply because I chuck it in my body, it will do its magic. In Chinese and Tibetan medicine, it says it's useless. If your body cannot absorb, it just goes right through. And now we also know scientifically, bodies of water, where the sewer goes out, has all these drugs and all these supplements, and it's choking the rivers like in the same way that, calories are killing us. My gosh. First time in human history, calories are killing people. Where for most of human history, people die because they don't get enough calories. Imagine people living 100 years ago, time traveling to now. I think one of the most shocking things would be to go into shops and see rows and rows of food that says, "Buy me, 0 nutrition value." Zero calories. They were like, what idiots are these? Paying premium price for 0 calories. Here we are. Okay, tubes. Central one, blue color. The central one, it kind of gets bigger, and slightly as it goes up until the sky door. So this is related to POA, for those of you who know about POA. So you're creating some kind of interdependence by experiencing, visualizing the central channel as it goes up, it becomes bigger. Then, right side, red channel, left side, white channel. White channel is called the lunar channel. Red channel is called the solar channel. The lunar channel is related to water. The solar channel is related to fire. Aversion, anger is principally on the right channel. Attachment, desire is principally in the left channel. Ignorance is in the central channel.
What was in the central?
Ignorance.
Ignorance.
Now it's back to the 3 poisons. Ignorance, confusion is the central problem, so to say. So that's central channel. The solar channel is aversion. The lunar channel is attachment and aversion. So in the medical system also then, liver and anger on the right side. Liver diseases and failing often related to very angry types. There's a relationship there. Now, of course, during this visualization, you don't think about all those organs, they are gone. But then, when you begin to do practices of clearing left channel, right channel, central channel, they affect your liver, your heart, your organs. But you don't work directly with those organs, at least in this simple methods. there are Taoist sound exercises that massages the hollow and the full organs in the body using sound. Kind of almost like sound homeopathic, you know, like different sounds like ooh, 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 and then the visualization of like that particular organ. But it's not an organ when they talk about kidney, it's a system. It's the interrelationship between the organ and what's around it. And then that's being cleared, and then that's being cleared. So you have these techniques, like that statement that says the medical tradition has much more detailed, profound information. But insofar as the 3 poisons, the Buddha says you only need to know about these. So then, these 3 channels, right? If we were doing more about a different type of exercise, then these 3 channels branch out from the center. Not the 3 actually. The central channel have branch channels that branch out at different locations, like this location, this location, this location, and then navel. They have branch, and then totally branching out to 72,000 channels, down to like, you know, fingers, and then each finger branch out 72,000. Each of the channels has 24,000 pathways that branch out at different places of all of that. Now, so the 3 channels again, right? The bottom, the left and right goes in and stops, okay? Goes in, stops, so it feeds in to the central channel. And then the top, there are 3 openings. Central channel here, left and right. So up, down, the egg. In this case, egg. Yeah. Can I get someone to move this away? Just maybe over here. Just lift. Over here. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, now. Again, try to sit in a comfortable position. Don't sit back. Sit front. Yeah. Because you're putting a lot of strain on your back if you sit backwards. These cushions, give me a bafu. Now they have actually, see, these cushions, I always say, they're misleading, you know. It makes sense to think, well, it's shaped like this, I should occupy the whole thing. When in fact, you try to occupy as little of this as you can. Why? Because it's supposed to work as to tuck in and provide support for your back. It's not meant for you. If you sit in such a way that your back is sloping down here, yeah, you're putting a lot of strain on yourself, and then back pain will come. Yeah, so try to let around here be the support for the back that you need. Yeah? So that's the first thing. So these days, people then now make the crescent ones. Yeah. So then that works better, you know, like it's like, oh, okay, that's how I should sit, you know. Otherwise you'll be tricked into thinking you should sit here. Then you're always like, so you're holding a lot of, you know, pressure and trying to not fall off from the back. Yeah. Okay, so sit comfortably. Then, now we're going to do some breathing and some clearing. So now there's movement. But not physical movement of breath. Right? So first, your hands, the thumb touching the base of your ring finger. Thumbs touching the base of your ring finger, then like that. Close down, yeah. Not quite, your pinky fingers are not like that, just like that. Yeah, bent like that. Yeah. Pinky down, pinky down, pinky down, yeah, pinky down. Pinky down, pinky down, pinky down, pinky down, 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 down. Yes, yeah, like that. Okay, so then first put it on, and as you put down, you press up. So this kind of stretches your spine, pushes up your spine. So there's a little tension. If you're sitting on a chair, you might have to experiment a little about where on the chair you should sit. Yeah? Generally, it's not good to sit all the way to the back, but then everyone's body is different at different times in your life. So you might want to experiment with maybe sitting more to the front of the chair and then putting something to fill up the gap. Or maybe sit all the way back, you know. So to experiment, then push up so that your chest goes out. So see, this shoulder pulls back. And yes, at this point, not yet comfortable. Not yet comfortable. It's tense. So tension is not always bad. So you pull up like that. Just for a few moments. Then as you relax, put this left and right on your left and right knee, and with your forefinger pointing out still. So you can do a few times of this, like when it's facing up and on your inner thighs. That the purpose is to straighten. And open your chest, and out, back, out, yeah. And then hold it like that with tension. Then, as you slowly release the tension, switch to your knees. And if you want to coordinate your breath with this, you can do that, although there's no specific, but basically then when you're tensing up, holding back in, you breathe in and you hold your breath. As you breathe out, put them down. So just do a few times of this. Then after a few times of this, then just put both hands right on your knees. And then do a quick version of transforming the egg. egg appears. Then if you can, check in on those channels. But if you have to keep one and not the other, then a general sense of your crystal egg body is more important than right now focusing too much on the 3 channels. But if you can, then the crystal egg and the 3 channels and the architecture of those 3 channels. And check in on that. Now just relax. The next element we want to add to this. So from here, right? So you should, if you want to, if you need to, if you want to, you can just get up and stand around. And if you can see me better, that's fine. In fact, please do that. So the next element we want to add is, this is called the 9 breathing with the 9 cycles, and there are quite a few variations, but the basic principles is the same. This particular one has removed a lot of the more fancy movements that goes on. And this is just kind of, in a way, down to the bare bones of it. So down to the bare bones of it. So you can, I'm not going to narrate yet at this first one. You can just see. That's the first. So when you do this, it's like it's a sense of like grandeur, like take your place, like be present, not like timidly, yeah, just like I'm king, here I am, I have turned up, that kind of, we say, divine pride. I'm here, I have turned up, right? So, and so this is using your nail, right? And pressing against your left. And as you press, you slightly, your gaze goes a little bit to the right. Yeah, just a little bit. As it goes a little bit to the right, you're also slightly pushing, so that it shuts, so that it blocks your left nostril. So, right? So, your gaze goes to the right, but as you're pushing your forefinger, you're also looking a little now to the left. Now, what you do is you Breathe in. Now breathe in only through your right nostril. Strong and long, extended, yeah. So as you exhale, yeah. So you're blocking right, and slightly turning left, and so as you breathe out, right, it's like a bell curve. Yeah? So first a little, then stronger, yeah. So just sort of try to listen. That part where there's a force, right? You want to push out everything. After push out everything, there's still goes down. So a bell curve. So strong and slow, long. Strong, long. So that's one. Now again, so hand, block, strong, short. Like short, like speed. Still the bell curve,
So,
yeah, but almost like half the time of the first. That's the second. Now, right? Third. Right? The third one actually slow. No strong expelling. Just like inhale. So all inhalations are the same. Just slow, deliberate in. The last exhalation is like your inhalation. Slow, naturally out. But then out, right, at the very end, you do want to exert a little bit of, like push out. Whatever residual that is still there, push out. So the first three, it's all inhaling, right? And how do you remember? Well, your left hand is under your right armpit. Yeah, the third one is almost like silent because you're just letting it slowly go out, 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 out. Just at the very end, make sure to expel all. Then now block right nostril and breathe in through the left. Both nostrils. After the third, after you complete one cycle, then you can start a second cycle of 9 and the third cycle of 9. However number of cycles you want to do. If it is just one cycle, right, after this, then you start your meditation. Do it first thing when you wake up. Jump off the bed, sit on the floor, tuck a cushion. If you can do 3 cycles, it really wakes up, you know. And it's like before brushing teeth, brush the inside. Then at night, after you brush your teeth, then you brush inside and go to sleep. Questions?
Do you always start breathing in on the right?
Yeah, always start with. Always start with that right side. In this system.
Is there a reason for that, the right? The right, is the right red?
Huh?
Red too?
Red. Later, when this becomes easy, you know, when you're not poking yourself
Yeah.
up, down, here, there, like, you know, when you have stabilized, right, all of this, so the channels. So about the channels is basically when you're breathing in right? So all the air that you're pulling in, breathing in. Right? So see this opening here, right? So it goes up that channel, then it goes down, right? Then it goes into the central channel. And then that's when you're holding. Yeah. So in, right? And you feel it entering the right channel up. Then this gush of living breath goes down. Then goes as it goes up, it goes up. So like, you can use your imagination however you want to imagine, churn like a tornado, churning up, right? And then you hold. That's when, in terms of the breath, you're holding your breath, right? So, right? And you're holding your breath as you do this, right? Yeah, as you do this. Yeah. So first like that, right? Then you're holding your breath. Now, when you exhale, yeah? So then it's like a suction, pulling all the breath that went in this way, right? And went up. Now, like a vacuum suction, you suck it up. Suck down. Now push out from your white channel and expel. In right channel, go up central channel. As it goes up, it cleans. Then as it goes out, the suction is so powerful that it pulls all the yuck and then goes up this way. As it goes up this way, it also cleans, but primarily it's expel. When it goes in, it's bringing in life force, energy, all that is good is bringing in. Go up. Then when you change to this side, it's the same. Then both goes in, up, then goes out both sides. Goes in, up, suction out. But later. Mostly the egg body. Try to maintain that. And the felt sense of the egg body is basically to let. I mean, clearly this body have not gone away. Okay, let's be honest, right? But the one purpose of the egg body, right, the crystal egg is actually so you don't want to do the egg body visualization at the expense of this physical body tensing up. The purpose of the egg body is to relax this physical body, especially when you're just beginning to do this 9-round breathing, especially the forceful breathing out. You could pull a muscle. You could feel some muscle aches. So that's normal. And of course, the older you are, and the less active you are, when this, it can cause some muscle. Just be aware. Right? So one of the purpose of the egg body, crystal egg body, is that you relax. So the key point is relaxing this body. And you use the visual of now I'm a body of light. Essentially, it's a body of light. Then, for those who have stable deity yoga practice, like today, we still have to learn the deity yoga. right, is medicine Buddha. So instead of an egg, you're in the form of medicine Buddha as you do this. Yeah. Or Tara, or Manjushri, or Shakyamuni. Yes. Kuan Yin,
So basically, as we're doing the exercise, we're focusing on being for now, the egg body.
Yes. Yeah, the crystal egg. Or medicine Buddha. But not like forcing, Like, I'm medicine Buddha. I'm the cosmic egg. I'm the cosmic egg. Out pops Easter Bunny. Bearing chocolates. As to how those three came together, it's a little mysterious. Chocolate is the bunny and egg. So maybe get up and stretch a little. 15 minutes. Gotta take a picture before I messed it up again.
Oh, sorry.
Take a picture
Hey,
before.
listen, I'm fixing one tomorrow.
Okay. I've got a picture now.
Oh, wow, that's auspicious.
It is. That's a good thing. It is.
It is.
Oh my goodness, I'm glad to hear that.
It is very auspicious.
You mean it's a good thing for us mala sellers?
Yeah.